I want to see competitive Scrabble grow. I want to put products out there on the internet. I want new players poking around on Twitch to find these archives and to think about coming out to a Scrabble club. Don't be intimidated by the high-level player here. There are divisions at Scrabble tournaments. You'd start at the bottom division. I'll step off the soapbox now as players getting ready for game 2. Josh Sokol up 1-0 in a best-of-5 finals. A second victory here would be huge. Joey looking to respond, and we'll see if his gambit to switch sides of the table will pay off for him.
Josh, as you were talking about players promoting the game, has basically devoted his life right now to trying to get Scrabble bigger. He's got his active channel. Please, those of you on Twitch, follow him, twitch.tv/Axertypo, AXCERTYPO. So lots of players doing lots of good things. Will Anderson, who was just named Player of the Year, we know how much he's done for the game, getting that job at Scopely. But the game has begun. We are going to ship to the action, and Joey's probably going to have to throw back this cue. He's got a pretty nice rack, but the cue just does not work here.
Yeah, the cue, definitely the Trojan horse here for Joey. I think an exchanging of Q and N, perhaps the best thing for him to do. Sport looks to be the best synergy with those remaining tiles, although holding RST, RPST, NRTS, a lot of good options, but I don't think you play out of this rack. The Q is just so bad. And Joey is going to exchange not QN, but QP. A little risky, but, we'll see. And Josh opening again with the bingo, this time Novelle, Novelle for 78. So 2 for 2 on opening turn bingos for Josh, though Joey's exchange does pay off, and he will hit right back with the bingo of his own. He's got options through the O and through the C, and through the E's in Novelle, though no double doubles available. Yeah, I think Crostino, it is the highest scoring bingo, and it is what Joey should do here. In this instance, just grab the points. It's so early. Crostino, what he's going to do.
I wonder if both players know for sure if that takes an S or not. A lot of those Italian words that the O is the singular and the I is the plural, sometimes you can add an S on the end and sometimes you can't. So that's definitely something to keep an eye on going forward.
Josh pulling close to his streaming handle, Axertypo, but CINQ going to be a good way for him to play off the cue that Joey has just exchanged. I wonder if that bag was shaken well enough or if that cue was sitting right on top.
Yeah, there are certain words in Scrabble where when you have them, they're often the right play, and Sank is certainly one of them. As Joey's going to play buttered or
no.
butterer.
Oh, no. He's missing the double Buretts, Burettes.
Oh, hooking Sanks.
Joey playing
Joey's
too quickly here.
A bit too fast last game. He's played a bit too fast here. He's such a good wordsmith. He would definitely know this word. He could definitely find it.
And yet the miss not going to cost him as another incredible draw. AEEPRS blank for Joey. So mistake leads to a great pull, and Joey likely going to run away with this game after that draw. Both blanks, 3 consecutive bingos. Josh, I wonder if he sees Buretts was a possibility and knows he's dodged a bullet. Josh also with that X, he would love to have an E to play Lex underneath buttered, but he's going to have to cash in Fax here, and he'll get bingoed on once again by Joey. Ab Ampere is an 8, so I expect that Joey knows it, but once again, Joey missing both Permeace and Ab Amperes, so 2 blanks and 2 hugely squandered opportunities. You see Josh very curious. Cesar recommending in chat, make terrible plays if you're Joey to tilt Josh. Although also perhaps Joey electing to do this because he knows now this board is quite tight after pleasers. But I think this is not a tactical decision. This is another miss. I don't know. This is a tough turn, and this is one where, they all look like rather similar plays. I kind of like this play of Uvia, but I'm going to feel really bad if I end up with a bunch of 1-pointers that don't score. So I think I prefer playing through the C. Akai, or as Josh playing Racier here. Racier holding AU. I think I'd play Akurai over this, but Josh,
Yeah,
going
I
maybe for a
prefer
little bit more
Akurai
creative.
also. Just keeping that R seems a bit nicer. You also keep the E, so um, it just seems like a better leave. It only scores three fewer points. Yeah, like I just don't see an obvious spot to get rid of these tiles. Like he has the K to go above AB and an E to go above the F, but I don't see a play. Oh, yuck. See, that's exactly the sort of play he wants to do, starting to obstruct in that area. But it also leaves the S open of pleasers and also makes underlaps maybe a touch easier now that you can put an E beneath the blank S because us turns into U's when an S doesn't just take an E for SE.
There are plays like a WREN would be devastating, but Josh with nothing good here, and he's going to dump 7 tiles, which makes sense. Dump 7, maybe dump 6 and hold an A. Or maybe he could have played AVO in the top left, making OF for 22, but AIOU, such a bad leave, and you're likely just to get thwacked. I think Josh has to do that here. And Joey now, BGJMRTU has some decisions to make himself.
So he has found Bump. He will play it. And I like the exchange of 7 by Josh. I like the play of Bump by Joey. And I think we're really seeing some high quality play here. Yeah, Za going to the right or Tiz going to the Z. It works either way. I think Tiz makes a bit more sense. It scores just a bit more. And then the leave might be a bit galling, plenty of pun intended, but I think it'll work okay. And you said 54, so that would
51.
bring him to 235, and he'd only be down 34 points.
Yeah, 51 points. It's 269 to 232. Joey ahead by 37.
Yeah, I would also play Gobi over Job. I would consider Jury. It doesn't open anything, or Judy. That also works. Holding the R, which goes better with the GTO. So I think this looks better than the other plays.
Judy, 30 points, GORT instead. What Joey doing? Bypassing some points to keep things
Ooh.
extremely tight. And Josh is going to try novels. He's drawn into gallops. And even if Josh thinks this may not be good, I think he's in a situation where he needs to try this. He has no other great options.
I think
It's a
so too,
very
but look at Joey's face. He is not accepting it. He was staring at it. This is when you really want to read your opponents. He froze the second Josh started playing there. He was staring at it. Normally, you see him pick up his pen, start to get ready to write down plays. I could tell instantly from the way he was looking at that. If I had put down gallops and seen his reaction, I think I would have pulled it back.
Yeah, Joey with a big tell there, but Josh either doesn't pick up on it or has already decided, I've got to do this and I've got to do it with confidence, maybe get it into his head. I bet Josh in the post game will say, I didn't think it was good, but it is so much better than his other options. And at some point, he needs to know if that's a word. So even any uncertainty, I think that's a reasonable play. Or if you think there's a chance you can sneak it by, you've got to make that play too.
What would you be trying to do here, Matt?
The play of BIOG atop Judy looks to be pretty solid here.
Yeah.
It holds AERT, which is a great leave. I'm concerned about a play like SILL from Josh next turn. I know his full rack. I don't have an S. If he sets it up in a way that's difficult to block, I'm in some trouble. So perhaps I want to hold the G, but I think BIOG just too good a play to bypass here. Maybe Josh plays POM to the M and bump, or Josh playing pole here, which is a similar play. Get that S more powerful, get this board a little bit open. That makes some sense for Josh as well. And AGPS looks like it could bingo more often for sure than AGOPS. Yeah, WAAH doesn't completely obstruct the board. There's still potential for high-scoring triple overlap bingos to come down, and Josh will just continue by stacking and continuing to open the board. But I think it's a great play, and you don't mind getting into a stack fest here if you're Joey, but he opts for WAE, a similar play that does similar things, but doesn't quite muck up the board as much. I wonder if we see the obscure 6 Fodgel, Fodgel, play to the EL. That's a 6 that doesn't take an S to my knowledge, just a random word that exists. Yeah, it's an adjective. So no S. Josh looking at it as well. That's going to open this board in 2 ways. The pole's spot will stay available, and he'll give himself an F, O, and D floater to play through. So I think Joey's play of WAE going to give Josh a lot more life in this game. I really don't like that play, as it allows that S spot to stay available.
There's no better feeling when you're ahead than knowing that even if they hit me with something, I have these nice tiles that work well together that will allow me to make a responsive play. As Josh plays Fogel, I hope I'm pronouncing that right, trying to open up that left side of the board to give himself a few floaters. The obvious way to sort of block that is to sort of play 3 tiles above, but Josh has that poles spot he's now set up with his SAP leave that would allow a bingo going to the right. At least not without keeping both A's. So he is going to make the sort of play I didn't like.
Let's pull the unseen pool up, as I want to make a point. I think Josh maybe needs to play DAW here, down from the D, with so many A's.
Wait,
and
DI?
Oh my goodness. Okay. He notices and picks it back up. Joey smirking because he saw it as well. I think Josh needs to play DAW here. The reason why is because there are 4 A's and 4 N's unseen. AN is his most likely draw, statistically speaking. That would score well. It would allow the polls spot and the voters spot to stay open. No easy blocks for Joey. And it gives him pulls into Sinopia if he does pick up that AN, SINOPIA. So I think DAW, despite that IIOPS leave, makes sense here. And yet, Josh, I think maybe having shown those tiles already playing Patois, but this really feels like throwing in the towel to me.
No, pull it back, Josh. Again, equity-wise, this is a phenomenal play, right? Like, you have such a terrible lead. WI is not a nice sleeve, but at least it scores. But you can't take away the poles hook. You need that S hook. But yeah, like your play of DAW would definitely work. You could draw to Sinopia. Maybe you have to play on the left side of voter going down just to really open things up. But like POI, for example, POI, leaving WAIS.
Josh looking at Dow, and Dow seems to be the equity play, but specifically I like Daw because of all the A's unseen and the Sinopia draws. Now he'll need ON to hit that, although there are other things he can pull as well. Oh my god,
a triple he's opening.
Why would you do that? Agonized is in the pool twice.
Oh my god.
Oh my goodness. Okay, well, I have no words. I'm not going to say anything. We'll just talk about Josh's next play.
I just don't get it. Joey's such a strong player, but I feel like he's not adjusting to the game situation. He just keeps making the sort of play you might play if the score was neutral. Yeah, it's not what we want to see here at Division 1 in the finals, but yeah, it was the play. We've seen Joey make a lot of good plays this game too. I really like that play of Judy. Yook made a lot of sense. Josh will come back with Pia. He will score. That makes sense. A bingo's not enough for Josh, except for the triple. And it's just, he wasn't close enough to fishing for something. And he knows that Joey would probably have to block there, although that's not an easy spot to block if you don't have an A.
Yeah, the equity play here is side meat from SI. So let's see if Joey plays that. Josh drawing more vowels. He's not going to win this game.
No, it's basically impossible with the way Josh has been drawing. He has had a case of vowelitis, and the only cure is ending this game and going on to game 3 and starting to draw better. So Joey has just under 9 minutes left here, and he continues to have flexible tiles while Josh has the vowels. He is going to, he's going to just stop at sighted, which does float a D. It looks like Josh held the play. There are a million words in that little rack, edits and diets and tides and whatever. So Josh, that's the sort of word people might not be sure about, but he has now accepted it. You saw the thumbs up. It's such a tight endgame here. Sorry for the poor commentary as I go back and forth. Gonia was our first thought. It is the one he's going to go to. He can definitely hit a lot of bingos from that. But will bingos play even if he draws them?
Yeah, I mean, maybe potentially bingos from the A, from the I, through the D. Josh at this point, I think, just trying to figure out if he can get lucky. Now, the unseen pool to Joey, AEIINSSU.
if homed plays next to sighted.
Oh,
Yeah,
oh.
so did he just allow the possibility of Indujas? Would that have lost him the game if Josh had drawn a U instead of an E at some point?
Induja doesn't take an S. It is already a
Okay.
plural.
So that's the
This way.
fourth time I've tried to pluralize a word that doesn't take an S.
And
I apologize, folks. I'm going to start maybe quackling my thoughts before announcing them.
no, you're actually just fired, Jared. Get off the stream. I'm going
I
solo.
don't know why you said I was such a good commentator. I've gotten very rusty, and there's so many words, and I don't know how these players keep up with them. There was a time when I studied and I had a much better grasp, but it's amazing how quickly I feel like confidence in the words really gets past you.
I played the school Scrabble championship in 2004, 2000, or 2006, I believe, and Joel Sherman was there saying word knowledge is like drinking out of a styrofoam cup that has a hole in the bottom. You try to fill up the cup, and then water just continues leaking out of the hole, and you have to keep filling up the cup, and it keeps seeping out. So yeah, if you fall off, if you don't study even for a little bit, you get very rusty very fast. And I definitely feel it as well. I just have Quackle open to try not to make these mistakes as often.
Yeah, I have no shame. I like to show people you can get a very high rating even with very many holes in the game. Although, like you said, that cup analogy by Joel Sherman, just such a great person, is phenomenal. And I really do think as you add more, others spill out. And if you don't add more and words are spilling out, it's just getting even worse for you. So Induja only takes an L. And I also want to thank the 3 or 4 people who said they appreciate me and want me to keep going. As he plays, is this a word?
Yes.
Sane?
Yes, it is.
Okay, see, that's 5 mistakes. I like it's like I don't even know what I'm doing. What
Yeah,
sort
I
of
mean,
word is that? That one looks really funny.
I've never seen this either. This is actually what Sanious, Sanious, comes from. And despite me just getting a doctorate in pharmacy, I didn't know that this means a fluid discharged from wounds. So kind of an
Wow.
old word, maybe coming from sanguinis and all that. But Sanies is in fact a valid 6. Why does Josh know that word? It is one of the most useless words. Sany, not valid. Sanie, not valid. It is a 6 with 2 S's. It's also the right end game for him. So just
I mean,
flexing.
Josh consistently makes the right end games, and his word knowledge has gotten so strong. He used to be someone more like us who maybe had a high rating but didn't have a grasp of these words, and he was over 2,000 for a while, even with poor word knowledge for a top player. And now that he's taken the time, I think in 2 straight years he's gone through every 7, every 8, and he does the daily quizzes, the 4s, the 5s, the 6s, all of them, the 9s, and when you can beat people without the word knowledge, the second you get the word knowledge, you go from being dangerous to nearly unstoppable. As we saw Josh destroy this field, only losing 4 games before the finals, but
Yeah,
not
let's
to be
get to
in this one.
overhead mic here. See if we can catch some banter real quick. Not to cut you off.
Yeah. I had the H too. So yeah, no, it's a good play. Yeah, it was dead to this. Yeah, could have suasion. The U was the last letter, so okay. Yeah, I knew I was dead to this, but I don't know. Who she is. So we don't do play numbers anymore. Yeah.
Okay, it seems like not a very interesting post-mortem. I was wondering what Josh was going to say about maybe potentially novels and what his confidence level was in that, but it seems like they're more interested in this last sequence instead and what may have happened with those last few turns. But Joey filling out the results slip now. That'll bring our finals to 1-1 overall, which means we are now faced with a best-of-3 situation to crown our champion at the Scrabble Players Championship. Josh making some faces for the camera as well.